Hey everybody, it's Kate Richburg live from our bead retreat, and over on the other side of the room, Janice is talking about how she does some patterning. So I'm walking over and you're going to see what we're doing right as we start before lunch. Janice, I've got you on the Facebook Live.
Hi, everyone.
So we're saying hi, everybody. And Dria's on. Dria says hello. I thought that we would start just real quick. Janice you're going to talk a little bit how you pattern. This is, and this is, the handout is on the web.
It's on the web. If you look under class handouts, it's under tricks of the trade. And this was like, this is my signature class. And if you follow along to this, I promise you, you're going to get great jewelry because we all have it within us. Okay, so to pattern is very much, I talk about, it's like playing the piano. You practice your notes just like we did our sketching. This is another way to practice. And so I hope you can all see this. I started out here with just 2 beads. I did 5 seed beads and then with this wonderful sort of with Saturn bead, then another one. And then when I came along here, I decided to add a little tiny seed bead and then a smaller bead, and then I put my Saturn back on. And then I stopped, here's this pattern, and it's already more interesting. It just, so in the patterning, this would be a dot, a dash, a dot, and then you try a 3rd bead. Then I added around the Saturn bead a little what I call bookends. Let's make it a little special. So this hasn't happened yet. All I've done is, oh
you're good.
So I kind of like that. So what I'm doing, as Kate says, I'm auditioning the beads. So before I'm making the necklace, I'm creating my patterns.
So you know where you're going to go back to. So you have like little ready-made portions.
Yeah, little components. And what it does is it takes away all of that anxiety of I'm working on the finished piece. Oh, I got 3 or 4 inches done. I don't like it. This is like, this isn't even my necklace. These are just these are my sketches.
Your bite size, your sketches come alive.
Right. So then I'm going here and I'm repeating this again. Well, I like that. So let's start that again. And then I go, well, I want to put in a more special bead. Oftentimes around a special bead, I will cap it. I don't want to forget, in my case, because my signature way, I want to add a little seed bead because I like to give it air. I think of it as writing a paragraph. If we put all the words together without a space between the words, we'd have trouble reading it. So if you put the little spacer bead, the little seed bead, the little he, whatever it is, it allows the eye to read the story. And then so I said, okay, well, I like the big turquoise, but I'm going to cap it because it's big enough. So I capped it. Oh, I like it. And then I came back, and now I bookended it again. So this, when I talk about bookending, this is one little story right here. And then I came back and I said, okay, I'm going to repeat this here. Now I forgot to put the little yellow fire polish on. But what I will do is I will use something like this, and I will, like here, on many times when I'm designing, I start in the middle. And I work one way and I work another way. So you can actually, and there's a handout we have, perfect patterning. Isn't that the name of it?
Isn't that the name of it, Dria? Perfect patterning?
Yeah.
Look, Dria's on. She's linking like crazy.
Yeah. And in that one, it talks specifically just about patterning. But you can start in the center, and you can make something blah, 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 totally random, with no thought. Like you could make something like what I'm wearing now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that is such a good
And then all
good
you
piece.
do is you flip it on the other side.
And
Flip
mirror it.
Mirror it, and it will look like it's polished, even though it's a totally random design. So then I have this here, and then I said, okay, well, I'm going to repeat this again. Here, I'm starting here again. I'm going to repeat this again, but I want something more centered. So I will, okay, well, that's not the center anymore. Can you see that over there? I'm going to put now something else in the center, and then I'm going to go back and bookend it.
I bookend a lot.
And
Intentional
now-
repeat and bookending.
Yeah, and now I have another pattern. And I'm not wedded to this as, okay, this is my finished string. You can do this on fishing line. You can do it on, like Emily will have these extra pieces of soft flex she doesn't know what to use. And then you can just literally put some tape on the ends, put them aside, or what I like to do oftentimes is I'll take a picture of it so that I don't have the beads sitting all over the place. I want to restock them, but I'll have my patterns worked out. The more you do this, the more you're going to realize you do it differently than anybody else. Even if you're a new beader, you have your own pattern story, just like you have a color story. The other way is I could start now from the center and work my way out. So in the handout, there is this little section. It looks kind of crazy, like what did Janice do here? But there's this section here where I try to show you what my brain is thinking. So it's a dot dash, a dot dash. Then you can take, instead of a dot dash, so if we take this here, and so this is, I'm not going to bother with the seed beads right now. So
looks
this
like that.
is right now a dot dash. So this is dot dash.
And so when you say dot dash, Janice, you mean a big bead and a small bead, or a line of beads and a...
So this is a
gonna
dot.
get-
So this
I'm
is
gonna
the
get in there.
dot. This is the dash.
Okay.
Then I go back to the dot. Then this is the dash. It's just my kind of way of doing Morse code.
Okay.
Then I mean, of course, when I'm doing this, I would put spacer beads. But then I could do what happens when I do 2 of these and 1 of these. How does that look? Look at,
Yeah.
yes, it's different, right? So if you have not tried this with your jewelry, this is going to open up a whole new world of
Just design
options for
options.
you.
And you can also pair this with kind of your new color ideas, right? And do some of this dot dash patterning with those colors from those palettes that we've chosen. That way, you're not wedded to this. This
No.
doesn't have to become anything, right? Other than a little sampler of your patterning.
So we started with dot dash, then I did dot dot dash, dot dot dash. And before I go to anything else, I'm going to try, let me add something else in there that's new. And then again, I'm going to bookend it, flip it over. I'm going to go back to my dash right here. And then I'm going to do my 2 dots. And I have the beginning of a pattern. Now I could say, okay, I want to add, so I'm going to do this, and then I do this again, and I'm doing this with someone else's glasses. I do that, and then I'm going to put on this little bead. I think that's on there, and then I'm going to put this on. Now I want to add something else, and then I'll go back to this. I'll bookend back. So I'm going to add, let's add that pretty turquoise in there.
That turquoise
Yes,
is nice.
these are Gwen's beautiful
Yes.
turquoise beads.
From back in the day.
I know. So now I have
at that.
that. Now I'm going to go back. I'm bookending it again. And I'll do this for like...
Oh, no seed bead.
Oh, see? Thank you.
Eagle eye.
Eagle eye. Yeah.
Friends that bead together.
I know. So, and not only that, but we have friends watching who would say, get the seed bead.
That's right. Everybody, so by the way, Janice, everyone on Facebook is just touting your your patterning ability. They're loving it. People are saying it's fascinating. And then we have a lot of shout outs for people that I know that you watch Facebook Live here. We've got some of our friends watching. We've got Lynn, and we've got Faye, and we've got Deb and Debbie and Lorraine.
Hello, everybody.
So hello, everyone. We're having a great time, but we miss all of you.
Yeah. So now I'm going to just, before I do the regular pattern, I'm going to try, well, let's add a seed bead in there and let's see how that looks. I'm going to add a third dot instead of just 2. What happens if I add 3? How does that look? And so what'll happen after doing this for about 30 minutes, I'm now ready to start stringing. I've been playing. We play with our beads. You take out just a bunch, and they don't even have to be in the same colors. Just pull them out and then start kind of playing with them. And then, well, I haven't tried, like, what happens if I just add, a section of just seed beads in there? Do I want to do that and see how that looks? And then I'm going to, well, I like that. Now let's try the 3 dots again. And let's see how that looks.
Mary Ellen says, Janice, your experiment is sort of how she likes to cook. Experimentation.
Yeah, yeah. So you can start in the middle and go out and go any way you want. Like, oh, well, I want to put this on it now. See, now I hope you're all chomping at the bit to go back and try this, and, see how this, so I'm going, oh, I like that, but I want to add, something else now. What happens if I add 2 of these guys on this side?
And one of the things that I think you're seeing is beads, when they're kind of static, when they're on your bead mat, they look completely different than when you have your beads in their natural habitat, on a thread or on a wire, right? Mm-hmm.
Well, it's also what I say about artwork. When you take a drawing you've done and you think it looks awful, put it in a frame, and everyone thinks it's art. So now that's just, look at that.
Looks fantastic.
It's just, yeah, and so I'll say, okay, now I want to take that and add that or this. So this is how I practice before I start stringing.
Really great. Thank you, Janice. Thanks for sharing it with our Facebook people. All right, good work. All right, I'm going to turn this around. Okay, you guys, wasn't that cool? I did want to bring you over here because Emily's working on a piece. Emily, I'm going to turn this around so you can talk a little bit about what you're working on. Here's Emily.
Hi guys, it's really nice to see everybody. We are having a great time here.
Aren't we though?
Today, and I'm actually working on a present for Janice.
Right, don't tell her.
Don't tell her. Shh.
Photobombing. There's my mom. Say hi to everybody, Ma.
This is my pearl jar that kind of goes with my seed bead mess jar, and I brought it with me because I knew I wanted to make another one of these necklaces. Janice and Kate kind of co-opted mine the other day.
We did.
And
we couldn't help it.
I thought that it would be a really nice treat for Janice. She's been working really hard, and she kind of needs a little present.
Well, you are always making jewelry for everybody. We'll show. I'll bring. Ma, do you have your necklace that? Oh, we'll bring it later. We'll show it later.
And
Emily
this is,
gave a really.
What's going to happen with these black and white
yeah,
beads? Look how
that
cool
was
that
our.
Is. And then these are some beads that are in the trunk show that I just adore.
They're really, really great.
Right?
So what you're doing, Emily, is you're doing this pearl mix, and you're just really kind of doing a similar, just patterning, but you're using a consistent 5 seed bead spacer.
Right.
Between each of these pearls.
I kind of think
this pearl. Come on, that pearl might be perfect.
This, I like to think of this as negative space. So Janice was just talking about how you might put your art in a frame, and one of the really arty-farty terms that you'll hear people throw around is negative space. I like that. It needs some negative space.
Right.
It's too crowded. So this is what I would think of as negative space. The sort of the spacer that lets the other beads shine. This might be the same thing I would do with when you make your ladder bracelets and you want to put a little period at the end of the sentence and then start another sentence.
Oh.
And
Hold that thought for just a second. We've got a quick question.
Very good question about length of a necklace. What if you want to either layer them, or you want them to be separated, or you have a centerpiece? Where do you start? In my book, this is my rule. You always start with the shortest strand. The point of a necklace is it frames our face. And so the first one you want to work with is the shortest, because that's the one that informs your face.
And everything else.
So everything else.
Below
Have you ever had a necklace that you absolutely love and you don't wear it? Anyone?
Yes.
I will guarantee you it's the wrong length. It's not long enough, or it's not short enough. And so when you put it on, it makes you look droopy. You go, ugh. It doesn't frame your face at all. So length is the first one. So if you have a multiple strand necklace, the first one is going to inform the rest of everything else. If you want them to be graduated so they're not all on top of each other, it's about an inch difference in length.
Depending on the size of the bead.
Yes, you'd think it would be 2 inches longer. It's not that much difference between one and the next. Depends on your class. If you've got a bar or not, that'll make a difference. But in general, it's about an inch and a quarter difference in length. If you have a pendant or a centerpiece that's important, you want to hold that up where you want it on you. So if you want to do a multiple strand, but you want that pendant to be right about here, you take your tape measure, you bring it down to the top, you go from the absolute center of the back of your neck down to the top of the pendant, and then times 2, and that's the necklace length for that. But that might not be the shortest one you wear. Maybe there's one that sits right above it. So there's a little bit of measurements involved in your necklace. And that also helps when you're designing. If you figure out before you even put, beads on, you go, this is the length I'm working to, you will know where your center is. So anyway.
Some words of wisdom from JP about length.
she's so smart. So I also think of these little spaces in between my pearls as kind of like an illusion knotting. Or the knot in a pearl strand, knotted strand of pearls, gives a little room for these guys to shine. And I love seed beads as a spacer because really they're perfect. So here's metal now, not chain, not metal beads, not spacer beads, but little metal plated seed beads.
Yeah, and they
they're
really
kind of a
act
perfect
as a
one.
great little spacer.
Yeah. they
Well,
really do.
we'll be showing this a little bit more, maybe when you clasp it off, Emily.
Oh, it's going to be endless, so I'm going to
So-
have a crimp and a crimp cover over it.
Well, maybe we'll talk about it.
Sure.
All right.
Bye, guys.
It's always good to add an extension so that if someone goes
Okay, you guys. So that is almost a wrap on our morning session. It's almost noon here. We're just about ready to have some lunch, but we're going to jump in again more this afternoon. And I know that I promised some details about how to win one of our goodie bags. So before we hit lunch, I'm going to go on our Facebook page and get the details, put the details on there in just a few. So you'll see those in just a few minutes, and I'll talk to you guys from the bead retreat. Talk to you soon.